holiday and Christmas and so forth?
It was pretty good. Basketball wise, I think we went a few days, tour days. Gave us some time to work on some things to get better at. Thought we had productive days. It's good where we don't have anything else on the plate, where we can really come back and go two times in a day and get some real work done.
Kenny,
What
how do you?
was the team schedule?
Say that again?
What was the team schedule during the 2-week break?
So we would go at 10:30, go for a couple hours, come back. Typically, that was probably a defensive day in the morning, and come back and scrimmage and play more or do offensive stuff in the evening.
Can you go back to the last game? How long did the guys get a break for themselves, and how much does that mentally help them moving forward and coming back?
They left for 3 or 4 days, 3 days I think, came back, broke down the Kentucky game. When we look at it and broke it down, initially I thought it was a 10-minute spurt where we were good. It was actually more than that. There was a 3 or 4 minute at the end of the half where we just fell apart, made bad decisions, and they got a big lead off our mistakes.
But does that break mentally refresh guys? Do you see that over the course of time?
No question. I think for us to know there are segments in a game or periods in the game where we're really good. We got to be more consistent, and for them to see it, then to step away from it, come back, address it, practice that way, trying to be more consistent, trying to fix the mistakes that we make. I thought they did a good job of that.
Yeah. Did you kind of set any areas to focus on specifically during the break, given the extra time, or and then also, were there any areas you saw the team take some big strides during that stretch?
Obviously, we shot selection, sharing the ball. There are segments or periods during the game where one guy tries to take over and we get unforced turnovers or bad shots. The more we pass the ball to each other, the better we look as a team. The more that we're connected defensively and in the gaps and helping each other, the more we look like a team, a winning team.
When you look at Virginia, obviously they're one of those teams that certainly lives and dies by their defense, and they're I think they're number 2 right now in scoring defense. When you look at them, how much of a challenge will it be to face that difficult defense they play?
It's great because, everything that I've been talking about from day one with this team is geared toward teams like this, where it won't be one pass and a shot. You penetrate that ball, they're going to collapse. They play a pack line defense, and they force you, even run at you at times, multiple guys, to make you pass the ball. If you don't, you're probably going to get turnovers or layups. They're going to get layups on the other end. So this is geared toward what I've been preaching from day one. Good teams that play in gaps, that force you to pass the ball to each other. We have to do that.
Go ahead.
Is everybody back healthy and available?
Not yet. I think that JJ is getting closer. The funny thing about JJ is nobody's really talked about the 10 points and 5 rebounds that he's brought to this team, and we need him back, but he's been working hard to get back, and he's pretty close, I think. And Dennis is still day-to-day.
So either one probably won't play against Virginia?
Don't know yet. I'm waiting to see. I'm hoping.
Notre Dame scored a bunch of points off Virginia back. I don't know the last time anybody scored that many points. You watched that game, I'm sure. What did you see out of Virginia?
I just saw Notre Dame made a bunch of jump shots. Some were contested. They did a good job, really good job of driving and passing the ball to each other. Got a bunch of threes. And, it's hard to evaluate the game by that game because, some of those shots that Notre Dame made was tough jump shots.
Yeah, kind of bouncing off that point, we know what a Tony Bennett team is capable of when they're playing at their full potential, but they have had those shaky games so far this year against Notre Dame and Memphis. Is there anything that when you're watching tape about those games maybe stands out to us why they haven't been able to click?
Great question. Those two games were not in Virginia. You know, when we look at it, you know, when I watch the team with the guys and we look at the game, I ask the team, what do you notice? Well, the big thing is they're not at home. Do you think they're gonna miss this many shots? Do you think they're not gonna be sharp when they're at home? You're gonna get their best game. They're coming off 2 losses. They're gonna play very well. They're gonna play with great energy. You gotta be ready for it.
Kind of bouncing off that too, with still looking for that first road victory. Obviously every game's different, but is there anything maybe consistent through all these road games that you've seen that you just still need to get over that hump to finally get that done?
I just think we have to be a little more consistent during patches where, you know, it's going to be a game of runs. We're going to get a run, they're going to get a run. And so we have to be focused, locked in, attention to detail to make sure that our lulls aren't extended. That gives them a 8-0 run, 10-0 run. We have to be better at that. We have to be able to close a gap, keep the game tight, or separate from them. Take good shots, play defense together. Don't give up. You know, a lot of times what we're giving up are nothing plays, where a guy didn't see a man or didn't see man and ball, or got back cuts, layup. Or we're in help position, but we don't help and they lay the ball up. Those kind of plays.
Kenny, when you have a guy like McNeely who's hitting like 45%, I think, from 3, what do you have to do defensively to know? He's not the only one that can score it, but he's the one that when he shoots it, it's pretty much going in.
Great shooter. We have to run him off the line because he can make threes. He can make contested threes. He cannot have space. You have to know where he is at all times. You can't really just focus on him because the point guard is really good and he creates problems because he gets downhill. And it's natural to try to get in the gaps and help off of him and give up a 3 by doing that.
What have you seen? You know, you've got the league games coming up. What have you seen out of the league so far?
Hadn't really spent a bunch of time looking at league stuff. For me, it's been more game to game. You know, like I spend these days worried about Virginia. And I wish I had the luxury of worrying about Carolina or Pittsburgh before we play them. I don't. We have to make sure that we lock in, or I lock in to what we have in front of us first.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you all.
All right, guys.